All right, we might go ahead and get started here and jump into things. What I'm going to do is I'll turn off my video because I don't always have a great internet connection, and I don't want us to have any blips there. So I'm going to stop my video. And what you'll see as well is there's a Q&A section you should have access to as participants. And in there, if you'll pop questions in there, my counterpart, my wingman here today, Eddie Thompson, will be happy to answer the questions for you. So feel free to chat away in there and ask what you need to, and more than happy to get those answers to you. Might even show you some of that online if I can see those questions as they pop up as well. So those that'll be good to see. Right now, no open questions, of course. So today we're here for the Sumo Logic AWS Observability solution. And this is a solution we built for a few particular reasons, and I'll go through those here in a slide deck, and then we'll jump into a live demo of the system itself. So just something to set the stage here a bit. There's a particular reason we built this, and actually there's more than one. It's an amazing solution, and we think it addresses a huge portion of Sumo Logic customers. So as you can see here in this donut, 59% of Sumo Logic customers are using only AWS. That doesn't include the ones that are a mixture of on-premises as well as AWS, or multi-cloud, where they're using AWS and some other cloud solution. So once you add in those other percentages, it gets well above the 59%. But 59% is still a huge chunk, and it should address needs for many of our customers here. Another reason we're doing this is if you look at the last 2 years alone, 2019 and 2020, we saw a huge uptake of AWS services. Just the median number of those services went from 15 to 26. That's quite a huge jump. And with AWS, as you know, there are a whole bunch of services you can subscribe to. Anything from EC2 to Lambda to S3s and CloudTrail. They're really all over the place as far as what you can do here. So a lot of our customers are using it, but they're not just using it in one account or one region. They're actually subscribing across the board everywhere. So only 53% of our customers have one AWS region. Everybody else, the other 47%, have 2 or more regions. Some of them have up to five or more regions, which is huge because you can host these services anywhere around the globe, and that adds another layer of complexity. Those regions are spread out. You have to manage those regions in a very different way, as well as AWS accounts. So 40+% of our customers have 2 or more accounts. So there might be dev, prod, or test. It might be staging. It might be an account for one part of the business in a BU, and they're just all over the place. So I don't see this slowing down. I see more regions growing and more accounts growing, and we're seeing that complexity come in, and that becomes a challenge to manage within the AWS interface itself. Having to hop around and look at things from different accounts and logging in differently. So you couple that with the fact that AWS services really allow you to create some really complex architectures. That causes a fragmented structure that becomes very difficult to isolate what the problem is and where the impacts are. That complex chain just causes all sorts of confusion. And when you couple that with the fact that these services many times are ephemeral, they will disappear and be reinstantiated in a different way. And the names don't have meanings to us like we typically name our services if we have physical services we've instantiated. This becomes much more complex. It's hard to track it down. It's hard to get to the root cause because of the cascading effect of all the issues that can appear. And trying to create something that would track this in a meaningful dashboard is a very big challenge. So This is the complexity that our customers are dealing with, and the AWS observability solution helps make that complexity very, very simple. I mean, life is hard. AWS observability really shouldn't be. Um, so we're about to jump into it here, but AWS observability is really meant to give you a unified contextual interface for looking at all of your services. They should allow you to drill down and find a root cause and see all of the impacts across your systems. And we provide this to you with out of the box pre-built content. And we do that because as we bring in that data from EC2, from Lambda, from DynamoDB, this data is coming in to Sumo and being enriched with some metadata. It's being enriched with account, region, namespace, entity, anything that you really need to tie it all together. And it's doing that by using AWS CloudFormation. So CloudFormation is kind of the key here in tying it all together. And you can do that across accounts and across regions. What I'm going to do here is now jump into the demo environment. And I'm not seeing any questions come up, so we'll jump right across to the demo system here. So in Sumo Logic, when we navigate to our Explore tab, you can right away see the AWS Observability solution in action. And you can see that here we have 3 accounts. We have dev, prod, and stage. And within those accounts, we can have regions. So at this level, we have prod selected at the account, and we can see an AWS account overview here at the top. We have multiple dashboards we can jump into, but right now we're gonna talk about a few of them to kind of lay the foundation. This dashboard has feeds coming into it from things like activity locations and your resource activities from AWS, application load balancers, API gateway, some quick information, things like these individual cells. You can hover over, you get the pop up, and as you click on them, a little wing on the side pops out and you get more information readily available to you, such as drilling down into logs or other dashboards or other related infrastructure pieces we may want to drill into. But this dashboard allows you that type of flexibility control across your different AWS systems and services. So Lambdas, EC2s, RDS, it goes on and on. So the whole list is available to you. And what I can do here is actually drill down into a region, and you'll see this is dynamic and opens up. Excuse me. So before we saw an account overview, this is the region overview. So now I'm just seeing data for US East 1 and not the combination of East 1 and East 2. So as we scroll through, it's the same type of dashboard with quite a bit of info. And if we wanted to look at something like, so maybe we want to investigate these Lambda errors because we have quite a few here, 25,000 over 24 hours. That seems to be a lot. I can also select down here in Lambda, and it opens up another Lambda overview, which gives me metrics specific to what's happening in my Lambda world, from color locations, performance of the system, top users, functions by duration, success and failures. All of this type of stuff is easily visible to me. And if I want to drill down further, it's easy enough to select a function name like after create and drill down here and get even more detailed information. So these are dynamic dashboards that change based on what inputs are coming in. And you can notice up at the top, there's a filter layer, and you can change these filters as you need to, and they're dynamically updating as I'm going through the system. If I go back up to Lambda, what I want to show you here is we've seen some Lambda successes and failures here. As a matter of fact, we've got over 8,000 errors occurring right now. And it looks like 720 of those errors are from the get billing info function. So if we want to investigate that, we can see, for example, that the get billing info here in the successful versus failed requests is really not experiencing any successes at all. It's all failures. If we toggle that off, you can see that it just disappears. There's nothing there. It's all failures. So this is failing for us. And we want to investigate this. So quick way to investigate it is looking at the most frequent function operations. We see a few things here, but really what I want to do is drill down and see more info here. Just like over here with the AWS Lambda and clicking on after create, I could drill down by scrolling through here, finding the get billing info, but I am actually going to take a bit of a shortcut. And I'm just going to type this into the filter up top, and you can see that it dynamically fills for me. And I can easily select get billing info without having to hunt for it. The whole screen should take a second here to update, and then we'll have one that drills down now into the specific function name and all of the function operations that are of interest to us. We can see here that there's a couple of things that only happened a few times, and that's really kind of what we're interested in. There's an update function code, there's an update function configuration, and usually errors start occurring when something breaks or something changes, and that's what we want to look for. Usually these normal functions are not something that's really going to break things. It's something of this nature. And if I want to drill into that, I have access to the vertical ellipses to just open this in a standard log search window. And this is the query underlying that dashboard panel. And if I minimize this histogram, we can see the same data we saw before on the aggregate template, on the aggregate tab. And I can actually change that and look over at the messages. And here I can see the raw messages that are available to me. So if I scroll over, the whole thing is available. I have 320 of these. I don't really want to go through all 320. I want to be able to narrow this down to something that makes a lot more sense to me. So I'm going to look at the event name here, and it will show me the top ones that are occurring. And if I click on one of these, like update event configuration, it modifies my query to look at just that event name. And we'll see the particular 3 that are of interest to us. And we can see that this user, Mark Smith, is the one who actually changed this configuration. And we can see what he changed to by looking at the log message itself. But this is enough to let us know we should probably contact Mark and let him know his configuration change should probably be rolled back, and that's likely our root cause. So that was pretty quick to actually jump to that. So again, we started with an Explorer view. At a high level, we saw a high number of errors occurring. We were able to, in Lambda, we were able to quickly search in Lambda and drill down to the get billing info that we saw was the majority of those errors. And from there, we got right down into the logs and saw exactly what happened, including everything that was going on with that particular issue. So a very quick way to triage some issues. I'm actually going to go back up, and we're going to have a look again at another area here. We might, if you recall back here at the higher level, we saw some application load balancer errors. So if I click on that, we can see all the different related info here. Load balancer errors are typically a little more difficult to troubleshoot because you have, with a load balancer, you have a lot of stuff coming in from a lot of areas. So it's interesting to see what's happening and what we might want to drill into. We can easily click on application load balancer and get down into the details. And we're seeing that this is actually happening with a spike here in 500 level error codes that are coming in. And if I click on that, we can see we can pivot here any way we need to, right? So if our analysis underneath isn't necessarily showing us all the details we need, we can also jump out of here, which is what we're going to do. We're going to have a quick jump by clicking on that cell, and we're going to actually look up. So we have a broader view across all of the services. So we're backing up at US East 1. But instead of looking at these, I'm actually going to change my dashboard and look at region events of interest. So this is looking over my whole US East 1, all of the namespaces, all of the entities there. And I'm going to update and look at the last 24 hours and see what's going on. We can see we have a nice dashboard showing us everything that's going on in the system. So any error codes, any availability issues, latency that's happening, some bottlenecks, maybe some throughput issues. These are all things that we can drill into and have a look at. What I'm actually going to do is open this in the root cause explorer. So we'll have some more ability to drill down and look at details within here. Um, so how do we make sense of this? Well, we do this in a couple of ways. We need to reduce the noise because sometimes this can get a bit noisy with all the different data points in here. So I'm going to apply the filters over in the right-hand corner, and that clears out some of these based on some presets that I already have. And if I actually wanted to turn off some of these others, I could click on these to uncheck them and it will remove them from the screen. But the other thing I want to do is instead of that, I want to actually highlight a region and I can zoom in to see what's going on. Might just go back through that again quickly and show you how we did that. So from the Explorer tab, we have the events of interest. We changed over to a different dashboard dynamically, and then we launched over into Root Cause Explorer. And instead of applying the filters here, what I might do is first zoom in. I might grab this whole section, zoom in, and then I can apply the filters even and see how it cleans that up a little more. And if I want to zoom in further, I can continue to spread that out and focus on different areas. For here, for example, there's the DynamoDB bottleneck. We might have a look at it for a minute, and we can see that the metrics coming in from the DynamoDB, this is the current situation. So we're reading these metrics here for today on the, and then down below, we're looking at either yesterday or a week ago. So we're doing a comparison. So we can see that this is an abnormal metrics that we're receiving right now. If I wanted to click here, I can see there's a host bottleneck that's occurring. And one of the cool things about this system is that we also group events together. So in the last one, we saw one event, but here we see there are 4 different ones. And if I want to drill into that, I can easily look down into these bottlenecks and see what's happening. So it's just a click away, going back and forth, and I can see that. Also, there's an EC2 error. Again, more grouped events. There's the 500 level error codes we were seeing. We can explore any of these we need to, including using the inspector to move to other dashboards or jumping straight down into the logs, either all the logs, all the error logs, or the error signatures. What I might do here is go back into the DynamoDB. And the reason I'm doing this is kind of the leading indicator of what's going on. And in troubleshooting, it's usually one of the first things that you see in the series that's really the root cause. And from here, I can actually look at these DynamoDB events. So that might be worth looking at. So I can investigate any of these that I want to, but I'm going to grab the events page here for a minute. So we're drilling into a new dashboard, cross-launching, and we can see, total errors. We have 4 of them. Top 5 events that are happening, events over time. Gives us quite a bit of good detail. What I'm going to do is actually have a look through the top errors and then have a look through the all table events. And here in the table events, we can actually see some interesting things going on where people are updating tables and describe tables. So we might want to drill into that and see what's going on. As a matter of fact, what I might do is I might expand that out and look at all the events over the last period of time to see what's actually happening here in more detail. So I can dynamically scale these out and look at a variety of things. In particular, some of these events may be of interest to me where I want to really drill this in. And if I cross launch into open and search, I can once again see those specific messages that are coming in. and I can have a look through here. So this gives me access into what's happened with all of these various settings. And what we can see here is that Ankit has actually set a read capacity unit of 2, which is an improper setting in this environment. It should really be set to 5. So we can go reach out to Ankit and say, please remediate this. And there's our root cause. So very easy to dynamically run through all the way from everything in my region down to specifically what was the leading indicator here, and the first thing that was failing, that was causing all of the bottlenecks and backups that were happening in our system, leading to errors, drilling down to the events occurring within that entity, and then looking at the error messages or the logs themselves, not just the error messages, all the events that were going on, and being able to analyze that very quickly and easily and see what's happening. So any questions there? I don't see any open questions in the Q&A. So we might jump back over here to the PowerPoint. And so what we saw was a unified visibility across all of your AWS infrastructure. It's got some pretty intuitive navigation, being able to search across everything at once in the same time. A ton, more than 40 out-of-the-box dashboards and alerts, pulls in CloudTrail and CloudWatch logs and metrics and EC2 metrics, and covers all of your AWS services. And then we also saw Root Cause Explorer, where we could really quickly get to the resolution of any of the root causes, and really minimize the downtime. So we could filter out the noise in the system by applying filters. We could look at the things that were occurring first in a series and filter out any type of anomalies that might be occurring. So all of the services supported there by allowing us to drill down. I'll leave you today with one thing, and that's a call to action. Join us at sumologic.com. Feel free to scan the QR code here, and let's start a conversation about how we can help you with AWS solutions for your observability. Any final questions? If not, thanks for your time, and feel free to reach out. There should be some links within the chat window as well if you want to join us on Slack for any live questions there as well.